Hey, I'm Mitchell Davis, a Laravel developer.
And a wee baseball player. Hi, I'm Gavin Ty
It's
and
true.
sales and marketing.
On my downtime, I'm a wee baseball player. Mate, we are building SixSides.co. It's an events platform, helps you grow your community through events. This is our B2B SaaS journey. How you going, mate?
Excellent, excellent. Busy week this week, going on holidays next week. So I've got so much on. So yeah, it's been
Mm,
interesting. Just some more context around Mitch looking like a wee baseball player. His hat is forwards today and it looks like it's a Boston Red Sox hat.
I think
So
so.
yep.
Yep.
And he looks like the character when you're playing wee baseball. So
And they wear a helmet and it's got like the ear protection thing because I've
yep.
got these headphones and they're like huge over my ears. So I'm sure it'll be on YouTube. You can check it out.
I
But
even think they
yeah,
got the stubble, mate, like in some
do
of them. Yeah.
they? Well, that's all right. I'll own it.
Yep.
Anyway, where are you going on holidays and when
Taking
and for how
yeah,
long?
taking the kids to Fiji on Sunday for a week. So they're
Nice.
finally anyone who's a parent out there knows that there's a time before 2 years old. Well, that is really difficult once they don't listen and they run around, and we're coming out of that now. So yeah, looking
Awesome.
forward to looking at going on a plane through their eyes and going to another country, and yeah, looking
Should be
forward to it.
exciting.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's a good time and they like it all. So
Yeah. Well, if they
yeah.
don't, who cares? Put them,
You'll still be over there, so
yeah, we'll put them in a nanny service. Like my wife and I will have a great time. Yeah.
that's
So,
it. Are you a beach guy?
yeah, we're beach
Yeah.
people. Yep.
Yeah,
Are
cool.
you?
No, no. I Here's the thing. I heard this from someone recently. You can really like the water, but not like the sand. I
Okay.
think that's me.
Yep.
But I would add a third one. I really don't like the sun.
And you're a redhead, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the sun doesn't like me. I like the sun, but sun doesn't like me. So I end up burning, and I just like every time we go to the beach with friends, with Nicole, her siblings, whatever. I'm always like, give me like half an hour, and then I'll go back to the place where we're staying or whatever, and then they'll stay another 3 hours, and yeah, I just can't do it. I just burn. But I really like being in the water.
And
That's
they're and
fun.
they're like and they're like, thank God Mitch is gone. Like,
Yeah, that's right. It's really everyone is happy.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's a
everyone's
win for
happy for everyone.
everyone. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've never been able to do it. And I've got one of my best mates from school. He's also a redhead, but he never like cared about the sun. Like I'm sure he would put on sunscreen and stuff. But my mum was always like super anal about it and make sure like, oh, you got to do this. So I hardly have any freckles. He is just like covered in
Yeah.
freckles. So he went full tilt. He's a sun guy, beach guy, all of that, and I was the total opposite. So
Hopefully that doesn't have consequences later in life, particularly the Australian sun. So,
yeah,
yeah. Hey,
yeah,
want to give a shout out to Matt Langtree today. He listens to our podcast. He sent a message through and said, "Hey, been listening to you guys for a while." He's on a very similar journey actually. He runs a platform called EntryPlace .com.au,
nice.
and he runs Laravel and Next.js. And he
Really?
Yep, yep. He heard
Wow.
you're a bit of a celebrity, mate. He saw your talk at Laracon AU last year. Are you doing
Hey,
that this
great.
year?
No, I'm not. I wasn't selected. Thank you for bringing that up. So Michael seen me once, and that was enough. He's giving me
Yeah,
the
well,
flick. So
very one-dimensional. So
it is what it is.
so yeah, so this episode is brought to you by EntryPlace. Check them out, entryplace.com.au, and yeah, great to meet you, Matt. Thanks for your words.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. We'll put a link in the show notes there. So very good. Well, mate, you've been busy getting ready for this trip next week. How did things go last week? Because we put out that rap video that we talked about for Start Club Brisbane last week. How did that go?
Yeah, excellent. So I do a little bit of stuff with the Brisbane tech community, and we didn't quite. We wanted to make sure that we gave them access to Six Sides when the functionality was right, because we only get
Mm.
one shot, and so we weren't quite ready to give it to them for the event, but they actually took a lot of the functionality that we're building and tried to patch some stuff together in it. And they were really surprised at the reaction they got from the crowd, particularly asking questions
Okay.
of the people pitching. So I took a heap of photos from it, and then we sent it out. And we stitched it together to show what a rap video would look like, and they really loved it. I spoke to her yesterday. I spent a day with her yesterday, and she said it was awesome. So yeah, she said you have to August 8 to get it ready so I can use it at the next one. So I was like, okay,
No pressure.
yeah, no
I'll get
pressure.
Mitch on the phone.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I absolutely do not mind making promises that you have to keep.
Yeah. Yeah. I've come to know. Don't you worry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
standard non-dev person making those. That's not uncommon in businesses, I don't think.
No, yeah, this has happened my entire career, so
Yeah.
that's okay. It's good though, because often it pushes you forward to do things that maybe you didn't think were possible, or like new ideas. It's great getting good feedback from customers or potential customers, and yeah, ultimately we'll end up with a better product. So it's good.
Fortunately, when you're doing something great and people buy into it, that they
Mm.
don't. The timeline is now. People go, yeah, let's do it. We're into it now. They don't go,
Yeah,
oh, I really want it, but I have to delay the want. People don't work on if they
yeah,
want something, they want it, right? So
yeah.
yeah,
I really look forward to being in a spot where you're not being held back at all, and I don't think we're too far off from that. But right now there is a bit of a like, well, if we get someone like this where they really want to use this now, and then it's almost disappointing. Why have you reached out to me now when you're not ready?
yeah.
So man, I can't wait for that, at least for the mobile app to be up and in the App Store, Play Store, like usable. Then we will continue work on
Yeah.
the back end, the organizer's website area, all of that. But yeah, I just can't wait for it. So, I mean, that has to be ready to go in August. So
Oh,
we're not far away, right?
big news, mate. What's the big news? What's
We
in?
have some.
Hey, Mitch, what's in August?
So we received confirmation today. They haven't signed yet, but we now will have our first international event over in Denmark. So until they sign something, we won't name them, but it is a developer conference happening in Denmark in August. Maybe you can connect the dots there if you're a bit cluey. And it's super exciting. We're thrilled to have them on board, but it does mean that all of this, like the infrastructure stuff that I've been looking at lately and how we're going to support events all over the world, that's going to be immediately tested. So I'm very confident we will be able to deliver what we're offering for them. But yeah, it's immediately okay. We're throwing it right into the fire. So I'm super excited for it.
Yeah, like, and that's we've anticipated this, right? Because you've done some work on before Cloudflare. You were looking at AWS, and
Yep.
you were looking at standing up servers in Europe and all this kind of stuff. And you're like, hang
Yep.
on a sec, it's going to cost too much money. And
Yeah.
we're trying to, what we're really trying to do is take the cost out of helping people use apps or making sure
Yeah.
that their apps are functional without having to pay $10,000 or $20,000. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's really it's awesome. Our third client, we're in June.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad, mate. We're off to the races. And as far as that other stuff that you just said, then I think I'm a bit of a pragmatist. We're exactly where we're supposed to be at this point in time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I don't feel like we are going slowly. Like I'm working on this as much as I can. I know you are as well. Like this is just the pace of it. And it's going well. We're having great conversations every week. You're meeting new people every week. We're getting referrals basically every week. It's awesome. So I'm to be clear, I'm very happy with where we are, but I just really look forward to not like to there being no barrier in front of us. So that it's just, okay, great. If we get an opportunity, we could have their event in our app the next day,
Yeah.
When we get to that point, I'm going to be stoked. I know that won't happen, but the capability of having that, of like, yep, we're ready to go, because when you and I spoke earlier this year, back in January, before we were recording the podcast, we were talking about this other opportunity, and I think that was in July. Yeah, I think that was in July, and I had said to you, as far as like how much lead time we would need from them if we were going to provide the app for them. And I was like, I think we'd need probably like 2 months notice or something like that, 2 or 3 months. And you're like, mate, there is no way we can go back to these people and say like, oh, sorry, no, we can't provide the app for you. You know, you needed to give us 3 months notice or whatever. And at the time I was like, no, this is just the facts of it. But now putting everything through this one singular app, which will be in the App Store, take away a bunch of complexity. This is data that lives on databases all around the world. Like, this is the infrastructure and the project setup that we have now and are continuing to move towards. It's like a huge unlock, gets rid of all of those barriers. So we could run any event that we wanted anywhere in the world now. So
it's been interesting to watch you evolve. Like you said when we first started meetings, that I don't have experience in this stuff. Just watching you go away and learn and put it into practice and let you do your thing. And yeah, it's been really good to. It's been excellent to watch, and it's very admirable.
Yeah, well, likewise. I think you picking up we still haven't got the marketing website up and running on your computer yet. You've been too busy this week, but it was very interesting last week seeing you really struggle, and you're like, oh my god, this is so much, and all we did was install like 3 programs on your computer. But anyway, we play to our strengths, right? So
No, you just saw that last part. Until then, I was like an hour or 2 hours doing other stuff. You just come in at the end.
oh, I got you at a bad time, right?
Yeah. You got me at a bad time.
There
Right.
you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, while we're on the subject of clients, we just had a great meeting with Holly over in Western Australia.
Yeah. Shout out to Holly, because I reckon she might listen to this next one that comes out.
That's right, yeah. So we told her that we'd been slowly mentioning different things and that her name had come up a few times. So hopefully she's listening to this one. And it was a great meeting. It was awesome. We showed her the theme designer that we put out on the marketing website. We're continuing to evolve that. We had some feedback from the organizers in Denmark about the theme designer and maybe being able to customize things like the border colors as well on the cards. So I'm already trying to incorporate some of that feedback as we get things ready.
Yep.
And it's all going really well. The Holly's feedback was great. We are preparing a timeline tomorrow for Denmark, but also for Holly to be able to go back. And we're kind of like trying to create our own like SOP, right? Standard operating procedure for this is the stuff that we need from a customer. And ideally, how long in advance before the event do we have access to that information? We know that it won't always be, not everybody will follow that timeline. Stuff happens. And ultimately, this is all data. If someone's talk has to get swapped out to be something else, it's a row in a database in our system, right? It's nothing is like hard coded in to any of the stuff that we're doing, but this would just give us the best opportunity to make the event app the best that we can for their attendees, you know?
Absolutely.
So we're working on that.
If anyone's listening to this and you want to check out what this design app is, it's how to design your app, for maybe some ideas or constructive feedback, it's sixsides.co/design.
That's it.
You know, there's a few things we've got to add to it, but it's a good first iteration MVP. And she gave us great feedback. So
yeah,
perfect.
It's cool. All right, well, why don't we get into the next section? So we've got some stuff in here because you've been really busy. I have been probably less busy, but still honestly pretty busy this week with juggling different things across our different businesses.
Mate, that's the SEO title of today, right? You're putting it to me. And by the way, we've had the most downloads in the first day from the last one. So
It's true.
Too soon to say I told you so, but I reckon I had to get one back on you from the banner on LinkedIn.
Yeah, okay. Look, hey, what are you? You're head of sales and marketing, right? This is a marketing exercise that we're doing.
Yeah,
so...
every client that we've won so far has come from your network and not mine. Like, I'm very well aware. I'm not pulling my weight.
That's all right. Well, I'm sure you will far exceed anything I could do in the near future. So,
anyway.
All right. We'll keep the SEO titles going for now. There's another 5 weeks to go. What will be interesting, though, is for Michael's episode, probably next week, where I'm hoping to, I haven't mentioned this yet, but I'm hoping to sit down and record with Michael Dorinda. He came back to me today and said, yep, let's do it. So hopefully that does happen next week. You might have to pick the title for that episode, since you're 1 for 1 so far. So
Yeah.
I'll have to
See how
send
we
you
go.
a few options. And I did send you a few options actually for last week's one, and you scrapped them all. So you
Yeah,
might know what you're doing. It's
I
good.
think I might.
Right?
Well, it's forming a close partnership with your clients. I think that would probably be the title. If
For next week.
yeah, because
Yeah,
you're
wow.
forming a close partnership. The best clients are friends, maybe. So
Okay.
so the theme today is really juggling multiple businesses while bootstrapping, which is what we're trying to do. We don't. We both run other businesses, and we're trying to not only inject our time into SixSides, but also money. And so
Yep.
we're lending money to this business with the intention of hopefully being able to pay it back in the future.
Yep.
Um, so, and I think a large part of that. So, what are your thoughts on that, mate, from your side? Because you have 3 or 4 things going on outside of um,
SixSides,
SixSides
yeah.
here, and I've got 2, at least 2. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, I know we've touched on it at a high level on and off, but what's your mindset, and how do you deal with that?
My mindset is that it's really hard. I don't think that's going to change unless I'm able to like outsource any of the other stuff that I'm doing, or end up like wrapping up any of those other businesses, right? If this goes really well, like, obviously we hope it will, then maybe there's more scope to wind other things down.
Yep.
And that would be great. That would certainly free up my focus. Wouldn't necessarily give me more time, but free me up to focus. So yeah, like yesterday, for example, I had probably a 10-hour day, work day, and I reckon 1 hour of that was on actual like focus development time. And
Yeah.
I put that into the SixSides app. The rest was filled with, I had like 3 or 4 meetings, which is great. I mean, obviously, normally that's a good sign, right? That, okay, cool, there's projects are happening and you got clients and things are going decently, which is true at the moment, which is great. But yeah, I'm really like strapped for time,
Yeah.
and it's hard. I don't think there's like a magic solution for it. I mean, great if I had $1 million more money and I could afford to just outsource everything now, and that'd be amazing. But I'm not there, so I have to go through and just work on all of these things. That's where, like we've talked in the past about deadlines, making it really helpful to prioritize. Okay, well, coming up next week, there's this thing, so you better get that done first. And then once that's done, then the week after, there's something else. So I just kind of work through all of that.
Okay.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's yeah, it's hard as well. Like, because I've got my other business too, and at the moment, I'm developing an AI coach, right,
Yeah.
for B2B SaaS, and everything's about to tell me that that's about to take off. I've definitely got early traction, a lot of early traction, and it's an iteration of many things. But I'm trying to think about my mind
Check
goes,
it out at DealBuddy.com. We'll put a link in the.
yeah, it's a
Have you got anything
no,
up yet?
no,
You haven't
no.
got it. Well,
There-
in time, you can check it out at
There's a
DealBuddy.com.
wait list there.
Is
If you
there?
put your details in, I'll get the email and a message. But yeah, there's a yeah,
Hop on the wait list then.
yeah, um, and it's with an I, buddy with an I.
It is with an I. It'll be in the show notes.
So one of the things I think about is try to draw parallels. And when you're switching tasks from one thing to a next, I lose about half an hour or 20 minutes, right? I can't just go from one task to the next. So I'm thinking about, I'm planning for both my business and this business to take off, right? And even hopefully, and Atlas seems like it's starting to grow again now. So I think there's an opportunity, well, to me, well, what's that long-term planning of that? And if we can have a structure that has the same executive structure, which is you and I, and our methods and models are the same, or first principles or tech stack and methodologies are the same, then I think that will afford us the ability to at least switch quicker, but then also hire in others that could jump across businesses, that we
Yeah.
could spread the cost, because we don't need full-time people all the time across the businesses. So
Yeah.
that's a really interesting concept, because I think if you get that right, and let's just say we're fantastic at this, or we get lucky and all our hard work and we go really well, and we create this whole structure, then what's to say we can't bring other things in that structure at a later date? So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
We have talked recently about like consolidating uh, like outsourced work that we do.
yeah,
So, for example, uh, we have someone that's helping us out with LinkedIn outreach, and you have kind of helped with all of that. And to be clear, this is across our other businesses, not SixSides, right?
he doesn't work with us anymore, by the way.
Gotcha. See, well, that's the thing. I'm not even aware. It's not my concern, right? You're
Yeah,
just
yeah,
This is something that you manage, and it's because we are able to like scale the efficiency here by, okay, maybe there's no need for someone to be doing that full time, but you scale that across a few different businesses. Well, now there's a huge amount of work that someone could do, and then we each pay or paid a part of that, right? Similar for helping out with development. It's something that we're thinking about at the moment. Are we able to find someone across, we've got a few different businesses here that could all use some development help, and we're potentially looking at, could we do some outsourcing there
yeah,
to get some help on that, right? So, and again, just kind of compartmentalize that across a few different businesses where that could be helpful.
yeah,
And fortunately, like at least on the technology side of things, the development side of things, all of the projects that I'm involved with all largely look the same,
yeah,
right? Laravel applications being hosted on AWS and da da da, right? So like similar types of things where someone, as long as we could get them in and they could understand, okay, this project is based on this, but you write it the same way as you write this other thing, which is based on something else, all the same kind of technologies. I think we can really get some efficiencies in the
yeah,
business there.
yeah. And I think where the challenge will come, if where you're running a tech company, but you're running a physiotherapy office, right? It's a
Yeah.
completely, you can't share resources, or you can't share the strategy or the structure. And so I don't fit, my businesses don't fit in, apart from SixSides, don't fit into your tech stack, right?
Yeah.
They don't fit into your process, which is okay for now. But then we're talking about long term, how I'm going down a path, but we're saying, hey, if this does go the way it looks like it's going to go, it will need a rewrite or an addition, whatever you would say,
Yeah.
an iteration. So then that may be the time to bring it into the tech stack that you follow
Yeah.
to make it scalable. But
Yeah.
yeah, make us more efficient, really, and because well, you mentioned before, if you had $1 million, we would just outsource. I don't think that that's the right thing, because you just waste money, right? We don't want to waste money. I think we want to be efficient, right? So
Well, yeah, sure. I think there's some context there, though, of like, okay, some of the things that I'm doing at the moment are not a great use of my time,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I'm forced to
yeah,
by the contracts that I have in place. And, okay, well, this just has to get done. And it turns out it's me that's got to do it. But I would absolutely love to have more help
yep,
to do some of the things that I am not the best person to be doing,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
that's the situation, right?
yeah.
So,
And that's like even me this week. I've been so um, distracted, like, because I know I'm not going to be here next week, so I've got to wind up a few things, and
yeah,
I've got to do some stuff for my other business. It's I guess that's the downside, right? If you're going to bootstrap, you've got to pay for it. Like,
yeah,
so you got to pay for it in other ways, attention. I knew a business, they're doing really well. Duress.com is his name, and his name's Trav Haven, the founder. And it's basically wearables to make people safe, right? And I said, Trav, how did you come up with it? And he's like, oh, I was just working at an aquarium. I was doing animal husbandry, and I just come up with the idea. I was like, so what did you do? And he goes, well, I just started a design house, and I would half work on a app laps for people. Then the other half I would build what we did. And he goes, there was no other way to bootstrap it. I was like, wow.
yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Good
yeah.
on him that he was able to find clients quickly enough to fund like living, to then also work on that.
Yep. I think it was a long, long journey. He's doing well now, but
Gotcha.
yeah, it's you either take the money, then you're at the behest, and you've got to work for someone else anyway. Like I've seen
Yeah.
founders generate all these reports, or you have a resemblance of control while you're trying to figure stuff out, and but you have to work more to pay more
Yeah.
attention or be creative. I don't think we could do that if we didn't have these other businesses, to be honest. I don't think this would be possible. So
Yeah. Yeah. It would have to be, maybe it would have had to move faster to justify like the time, because it would be working like nights and weekends, right? If we were both working for some other business, yeah, it's
100%.
nights and weekends, and then this would have to really probably have moved even faster. And imagine the stress that would have put on us,
I'd be a lot more active in sales and all that kind of stuff, right? Whereas, but then that means you're releasing stuff and you're breaking, like
Yeah,
your
we wouldn't
churn
be
rate
ready.
goes up and all that kind of stuff, and you may be damaging relationships. Like I think there's a price to pay for if you go too fast, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Well, I'm
yeah,
glad that this is our situation. Just sometimes it comes with, there's a lot of extra work that's got to get done.
absolutely. And I'm juggling a family. You're planning a wedding,
Yeah.
which we're waiting for an invite, but whatever.
Keep
Oh,
waiting.
how is that? Yeah, no, we're not expecting one. Did you confirm with that
No,
place?
not yet. So we've got one other venue to go look at. So we have held the date in March of next year with the venue that I mentioned last week. That's still held for another week. I think we've got till like Friday next week
Okay.
to confirm with them and then pay a deposit, right?
Okay.
But we are going to see, I think it's Wednesday or Thursday next week. We're booked in with the other venue in this area that we really like the look of. So basically, I think Thursday night we will make a decision. Okay,
Yeah, right.
where is it? And then it'll depend on dates that are available at this other place. And then, yeah, I can keep you posted in when you come back after Fiji.
Is that the Campbelltown Catholic Club? Is that where you're?
Yeah, that's right.
For people who don't know, I grew up not probably two
Yeah,
k's from where you live today,
yeah,
and we didn't know each other until I moved up here. So it's
that's
such a
right.
small world. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you're still coming down actually in not too long to go now. It's
Yeah,
like
the
a week after you get back from
20th. Yeah,
Fiji.
I've actually got to book flights and stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm done any of that. I'll do it
it's not
tomorrow.
in the calendar yet, so we got to get
No,
that on.
no, no. It's the day after me doing the CEO Sleepout. So
Yeah.
I'll come down in the morning. So I'm going to be tired. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Speaking of your total, I've just checked it out. CEO sleep out, $1,121. Your goal is 3,000. So we got a bit to go, mate.
Yeah, I
What are you
know.
gonna do? What are you gonna do?
I'm going to go wash cars in the nude. Yeah.
I think you'll owe money. I don't think
Get
that'll
money
make
back.
money.
Yeah, pay some fines. So bet down, Mitch, I'm down to 600.
Yeah, we got to chip in a bit more.
And I got to give
Oh,
2 weeks of my time up in jail. Yep.
yeah. No, we don't need that.
Yeah, no. So yeah, we got some time. I haven't put any posts out on in my email list or anything like that, or asked anyone specifically. I'll start doing that. Yeah, got a bit of time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once
Well,
a bit
that'll
closer, people would take action closer to the date. So
sure.
yep.
Yeah, well, you're almost halfway there, right? So not too much more to go, but we
Yep.
will put that in the show notes if you're feeling generous.
Yep.
All right, we've got about 20 minutes left tops.
Yep.
So we got a few things here. Which of these do you want to get into?
Well, let's talk about your side of the fence, mate. How's the app going and the database changes going?
Things are going well. So I'm so glad you asked.
Me too.
So we have continued making a ton of progress on the back end for SixSides. So this is the part, like the API that the mobile app will talk to.
So where were we last week? Then just so people who are listening for this for the first time, just give us, you were trying to do some stuff. Yep.
It's true. Like always, I was trying to do some stuff. So we have been...
All right, that's enough, mate. No.
All right, over to you. Let's talk lead gen. So we have been working on the new iteration of the mobile app. and our infrastructure. Now, if you want to hear more about all of that, check out the last 2 episodes, particularly the last parts of those episodes. That's where we've got technical. A big part of that is moving from just hosting our data and APIs on AWS. We're kind of running a hybrid cloud model where Cloudflare sits in front of our AWS services. And then that enables us to do a bunch of different things. We can cache data on Cloudflare so that we're not having to constantly hit our database and our servers on AWS, which is great, cheaper costs and faster performance. But then also this other thing that we're doing is called Tinybase. It's a way where we can store like a little bit of data about, say, okay, someone's profile in the app or someone's talk or whatever. Some little bit of data. We can store that on Cloudflare and then keep that open using a WebSocket, which is like a real-time 2-way communication feed between Cloudflare and the mobile app. So when someone logs into the mobile app, we can then open up these WebSockets to Cloudflare with this little Tinybase database there. And if someone comes along and let's say the event organizer adds a new talk or adds a new sponsor or changes a name, adds a logo, whatever, any little changes like that, we can push them through to Cloudflare and then Cloudflare will go send them out to anyone that's connected with the mobile app. So we're going to get this immediate, like real-time feel in the app, and Cloudflare is doing all the hosting for us. And by the way, it's effectively free. So it's like $5 a month to have this. And we will pay for usage, but our usage will be, we're going to have spikes of like 2 days of 400 people connecting to this. And then it'll go back to being flat, right? Until we start running events every day, all around the world, that type of thing. So as you can imagine, it's a huge change to the infrastructure to get all of this up and running. I have continued with it. I've been working on it basically every day. Some days, like yesterday, only an hour, but some other days I can put a whole day into it, right? So we're making really good progress. A big unlock that has just happened yesterday is now we can log back into with what used to be a ticket code is now we're calling it an access code, and we will generate them. It won't be provided by the ticketing company. We can go into that another time. You and I were talking a bit about it earlier on this call, so we just got a few more things to figure out there. But basically, we'll generate a code, just like a 6-digit code or something like that, send that to the attendee and say, hey, here's the app, here's your code, here's a one-click button where you can log in, and now we know who you are. Fill in your profile, enjoy the event. So finally, we got that part working where you can actually log into an event using this access code. So we had that way back when for Laracon last year. I had it with just a ticket code. Now this is and that then got broken while I was working on this new infrastructure and all of these changes. Well, finally, we're now on the other side of that. So you can log in again to the app, and hopefully tomorrow I will have it so that it pulls down not just like the event details, but also the theme. So everything connected to that theme designer and all that sort of stuff. So it's really exciting. This is I'm having a lot of fun because now after this point, it should become way easier to connect the rest of the infrastructure because it's still all kind of the same stuff. A talk still has a title and a time slot and a speaker or two and a description of what they're going to talk about and some links and stuff like all that. None of that has changed. We can improve it over time, but it's all fundamentally the same. So now I just have to copy over a lot of the screens from the old infrastructure to the new one. And then that's how we're going to achieve this, by early next month. We have committed with Holly that we will have a version of the app up and running on Test Flight and Google's version of Test Flight for her to be able to get in and have a look at, right?
Yep.
So,
okay. Yeah, nice. Okay. And so it's going good. Like we've made progress from last week. We're getting closer.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple of events in August now. So we've got to get it up in the early stages of July, right?
There is no messing around. Yeah.
Yep.
So Yeah, any of the like experimenting with the marketing website, all of that is now fully on hold. Like things are as they are for until the app is ready. Basically, that's our minimum commitment that we have to have, and not just ready in like oh yeah, it's fine if there's a few rough edges. Like it needs to be basically perfect
Yep.
so that we can deliver an amazing experience, because that's what our current customers are paying for, is give us a really outstanding app. So
Yeah,
that's what we're going to do. And then the very next thing to do after that will be the web dashboard, where organizers can get in and add, sessions and attendees and without having to come to us. Right now, that's a manual process, but
yeah,
we're still early days, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah. That's good. It's great. So, yep. Cool.
and it's really enjoyable, to be honest. Like this stuff fires me up. I really enjoyed, after getting through the transition of moving the marketing website from Vue and Laravel over to Next.js. That was a pain in the butt. Once I got it done, though, it was really fun. I could then work on the theme designer, and I could add blog articles and whatever, and it all just comes together like really quickly.
Yep.
Now I'm experiencing that same type of, okay, I can relax now and just have fun with it. And this is what I like doing. This is my passion of building stuff, building out APIs and playing with databases and doing all this sort of stuff. It's like, oh, okay, all the like grunt work is done now, and I could just get in and actually get all these things talking to each other. So
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
yeah, it's fun.
Good. I'm looking forward to when that's all done and we can start going to people and showing them in real time what it looks like, because people are already impressed, but what you've done in the last few months is amazing. So
Yeah, me too. I can't wait to see some of the reactions that we get.
I've still got to do stuff on my side of the fence, which is the sales strategy. Like we're relying heavily on just conversations now, right? Because we're not quite ready to sell. So I've still got to do my strategy and build out all the content on my side, which will inform our lead generation, in marketing and all that kind of stuff in time too. So, yeah, but I think we talked about this last week. We are going to adopt a
Child.
marketing through the app. We're going to adopt a marketing strategy, a medium-term marketing strategy, like about add value, adding to the community. We'll start getting set up for that as well. So, mate, brilliant. All right. Well, I think
It's
we're almost
exciting
done, mate.
times.
Almost done.
You don't have any lead gen results to update
No,
us
not
on?
yet. I got referred into some other government stuff into the music industry actually last week. So I've reached out to, he come back to me last week and said he would check it out. I just followed up with him today. And there's a few other people I need to go back to who will refer to me. So no, there's nothing else at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk more on that, when you're back in a couple of weeks. No word yet from the funding that we applied for, right?
No, well, indirectly, someone in my other business just got some funding and they want to use it for sales market fit. But he applied for it in November, and he goes, it finally come through, because there is not they are not fast.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, we won't expect it to before.
Good thing we're not relying on it for the longevity of the business, right? It's a nice to have. To be clear, we applied for almost 100K in funding from the Queensland government.
Yep.
We talked about that on episode 13, so you can check that out if you're curious.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Awesome.
Cool, mate. Okay,
right, mate.
Well, why don't we wrap up there? I hope you have an awesome time in Fiji and send some pictures.
I'll come back brown, like all tanned.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
Hopefully it's a good time, and it should be good weather, right? It's normally pretty good weather over there, probably year round.
It's well north of here, so Cairns is still hot at this time of the day. That's in Northern Australia, and it's in the Pacific. So I thought it said it was like 31 degrees during the day. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Well, I was in Maldives last year in February, and it's 28 degrees constantly, even at night. It's 28 degrees. That's their temperature. And man, it was hot for Nicole and I. We struggled. So 31 degrees. And when I was in Brisbane for Laracon, like it was 30 degrees or something like that, I think. And I just can't do it. I'm a real struggler for that. So I don't know how you
Well,
live
30
in that all the time.
Well,
Huh?
I worked at an aluminium smelter for 5 years, and I
Oh,
worked
wow.
on the they call them pot lines where they make aluminium. And if you don't know, it gets made at about 1,000 degrees.
Gee
So,
whiz.
and it was sheds that were a kilometer long, and there's 480 of these pots. And summer it was like 50 degrees, 50, 60
Yeah.
degrees. So you can only work out there for 20 minutes at a time. So what?
I've,
Yeah, I
I,
have a
I would not be
different.
cut out for that.
Well, no, yeah, that's right. So it takes a while. You acclimatize to it.
Yeah.
Um, so I have a different relationship to heat now than what I did before I worked there. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
it's your body changes over time. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
And Mel's from up Queensland way, right? So she
yeah,
would have
she was
been.
born in New South Wales, in the middle of New
Oh,
South Wales, and near Yamba,
right.
place called I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name. It's near Yamba or Coffs Harbour. It's near Coffs Harbour. Yeah,
Gotcha.
Woolgoolga, Woolgoolga, of course.
Ah, okay. Well, right, there you go. We'll put
Um,
that in the show notes as well.
Don't
Um,
put Woolgoolga in the show notes, mate.
anyway, mate, I hope you have an awesome time and that the temperature is just right for you and your family. And yeah, send through some pictures. Look forward to seeing you when you come back and you've got a tan. And I will hold down the fort, hopefully with Michael next week. But if not, if he bails, I'll do one solo and we'll just live it up. We'll talk tech. I'll figure something out.
Oh,
It'll be fine.
great.
You better tune in on the
I will.
plane coming
I
back
will.
home, I reckon.
We'll all listen to it. Yep.
Hopefully, it
Yep.
might be our highest listened episode. We'll see. Maybe the people have had enough of you.
I'll try and get the podcast put on the Jetstar, or we're Virgin, actually, the Virgin app. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
it'll be fun.
Sounds
Yep.
there's a sales and marketing strategy right there. Sounds good.
All right,
All
mate.
right. You can catch Gavin on LinkedIn, Gavin Ty, and I am Mitch Dav in all the places. Leave us a rating and review if you would, and we will catch you next week.
See you, mate.